Good morning, students. Today on CRK, we will be discussing the supremacy of God. First and foremost, supremacy is derived from the word supremos, which means highest. Supremacy, therefore, is a state of being superior to all, or a state of having the ultimate authority. Supremacy of God, on the other hand, is God's total power, authority, superiority, dominance, and supreme authority over the whole universe. In this lesson, we will discuss the religious situation in Israel. Remember last time we studied the story of Moses and how God used him to deliver the children of Israel, or better still, how God brought out the Israelites from Egypt through Moses. When God brought the Israelites out of Egypt, he made a new covenant with them, which was brought to them in form of the 10 commandments. For example, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not worship any other god beside God Almighty, etc. Thou shalt not worship any other god beside God Almighty was the very first commandment, so it was abomination to worship idol in Israel. During the time of King Ahab, he married a foreign wife from Sidon called Jezebel. His reign witnessed worship of different idols, different gods, including the Sidonian god brought in by Jezebel upon her marriage to King Ahab. Not only did she bring the god of the Sidonian called Ba, Jezebel persecuted the prophets of God by putting them to death, while the ones that were alive went into hiding. This was the picture of things in Israel when God sent Elijah to Israel to Ahab to proclaim a 3-year drought in Israel, apparently as punishment for Israel for abandoning their God. God divinely directed Elijah to stay where God had provided for him, away from the reach of Ahab and Jezebel. God fed him regularly in several places. First is the brook Cherith. He drank from the brook, while the ravens fed him with bread and meat. Elijah was also sent to widow of Zarephath when the brook dried up. It was due to the terrible sins of Ahab that God asked Elijah to pronounce drought for 3 years. God sent Elijah to proclaim the 3-year drought as punishment for both Ahab and the entire people of Israel for forsaking him, the Almighty, and worshipping Baal. Ahab responded by killing all the prophets in retaliation. All the time, God hid Elijah. Ahab was searching everywhere for him, while Obadiah hid the remaining prophets. The drought so much hit Ahab that he himself and Obadiah went out searching for pasture for the animals until he met Elijah. God, as the supreme being, withheld rain for 3 consecutive years to teach the Israelites a bitter lesson as a result of their unfaithfulness to God. While the drought lasted, God made provisions for Elijah. God used Obadiah to protect all his prophets through the duration of the drought. Through Obadiah, Ahab was able to meet with Elijah, during which time the contest of Mount Carmel was proposed by Elijah. God, being merciful, decided to end their sufferings. He manifested this through the contest on Mount Carmel. There he established the supremacy through prophet Elijah. The prophet of Baal prayed from morning till evening, calling on their God, but no fire came. Elijah, having made the prophets of Baal confirm that they were tired, re-prepared the altar with 12 pieces of stone, placed the bull on it, and called on God to send down fire to consume everything as a proof of his supremacy. At once, fire came from heaven and consumed everything. The prophets of Baal were filled with surprise as they fell on their faces. Covered with shame, they confessed, "The Lord, He is God." Elijah did not spare the prophet of Baal. He killed all of them and then announced the coming of rain, invariably, to end the drought. He told King Ahab to break his fast, return to the palace, and expect rain. Elijah went to the top of Mount Carmel to pray, and God answered with a heavy rainfall. This was how Elijah demonstrated the supremacy of God over all false gods. The contest at Mount Carmel proved the supremacy over Baal. The killing of the 450 prophets of Baal brought to light God's supremacy as it brought to an end the worship of Baal in Israel. By sending rain after the contest, God proved his supremacy as being able to withhold rain and release it. God has power over his creation and can exercise that power for his own glory. We will stop here for today and continue next week. Please make sure you attempt my assignment. It is compulsory. Stay home and stay safe.